Welcome back to another episode of the Heartland Show on Midwest Whitetail. Before we get into this week's action, I want to start off by wishing everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I hope it was a great day and I hope you're able to spend that day with loved ones. We're going to dive into John's hunt here in Iowa as he gets this bow killed down, and then we're going to slide over to Brad Huizenga, as you guys know, who's my longtime hunting partner. We've been filming each other for, 7-8 years now. And you know, that aside, he's one of my best friends too. So this one's really special to me as Brad was able to get his biggest buck to date, and I'm really excited to share this one with you guys.
Welcome to Midwest Whitetail. Today is November 5th and I'm out on my uncle's farm today. Little different scenario. Today's weather has been on-off rain pretty much all day, so not sure if when we get in the stand we're going to be in rain or not, so we're just going to go ahead and do the opening interview here. I hunted this area we're going tonight is an area that is a transition between some bedding and some ag fields, and I'm set up on a creek crossing, kind of a natural pinch point for the deer to travel to. I hunted this area yesterday, had a good encounter with a 130 class 9 pointer, came right underneath my stand. I'm about 300 yards south of that now, and I'm going after a buck we call the non-typical. He's got a lot of really cool character points, a buck that we've never really ever seen on the farm, a good size non-typical. So he's our primary target tonight. We're right in his home range. So really hoping we get a good encounter with him tonight. So we're gonna head out here, try to stay as dry as we can, and hopefully get a good encounter and a good hunt tonight.
Oh yes, he's so down. Oh my gosh. Woo! That's awesome. Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Woo! Jeez, that was so awesome. He is just a gnarly, cool, non-typical. And I drilled him, and he's down right there. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. He came in and I couldn't even tell, what buck it was. It's a buck we've saw this year, and he's pretty awesome buck. Obviously, he's got a lot of cool character. Probably the first real big non-typical this farm has had since we've hunted it. And he came in and I didn't know what buck it was, and then I saw that drop coming off the front side of him, and I knew right then. And he was with 4 does, it looked like, in the distance. But the way they were moving, he didn't really seem to pay attention to them, or maybe he already checked them and knew they weren't in heat at the time. And so he kind of veered away from them, and he was walking a particular way, and I grunted at him, and he looked, and he somewhat came my direction, and the whole time he was generally coming my way, but not in a direct path. And there were certain times he went away from where he looked like he was going away from me, and then he'd stop and change. And so I just shut up the whole time. Being a buck like that, older, mature deer, I didn't want to keep calling if he was heading my general way. But he came in and he walked through, and he came right up through the gap, and he was right at 30 yards. And I've been telling myself the entire time he was coming in, deep breaths, and just slowly pull the trigger. Do not push it. Do not punch the trigger. And I held it steady, and I shot him. I heard a pop. And then he went over there, and he ran away. It sounded like I hit him good. And he just stopped there for a second, and I was watching him. Saw him stumble a little bit, and then all of a sudden blood just shot out of his mouth, and that's when I knew he was done. But oh man, that is awesome.
All right, well, we got him all cleaned up here. As you can see, he's an awesome buck. A lot of cool character points. He has that awesome drop, and he'd actually broken off 3 other points, so he's even more impressive. But just to recap the hunt, we were set up on a creek crossing that led to an ag field, and our idea was coming from bedding into the ag field. And sure enough, we had good activity right from the start. We had a few smaller bucks fighting around us, and we even had a bigger buck come in, bust those up, do some snort wheezing right by us. Unfortunately, we didn't get that film because we were already in the process of getting set up at the time. And we saw this buck probably another 40 minutes or so after that. And I gave him a few grunt calls and was able to get him off a few does he was trailing, and he slowly came in. It was the time it felt like 20 minutes, but it was actually about 7 minutes of him just wandering in. And eventually, slowly from about 150 yards, got into about 30 yards and turned broadside for me, and I was lucky enough to get a good shot, and he only went about 40 yards and started stumbling and eventually cashed in. So just an amazing buck, a buck that we've never really even had a nice, a non-typical here, let alone one of this size. So to get him a pretty rare opportunity. I don't think I'll ever get a chance at another buck like this, so be able to get it done feels pretty awesome, and just an amazing buck and a great November hunt.
Third day of the Illinois firearm deer season here in Illinois. A little bit late to the interview here. I was actually not quite done setting up, and I had a button buck come out here. I'm sitting on the ground and self-filming, so the reason I'm on the ground and pushed in pretty aggressive tonight. My one shooter buck, Trainwreck, that we've introduced to you in the past. Kane and I got to talking a little bit today, and we think he's bedding here on this north side of this permission farm of mine. So I've actually got my dad in a redneck ground blind, probably about, 1,000 yards to the south of me, kind of overlooking that food plot that Kane and I put in over the summer. Hopefully me and Kane are right on our guess, and there's a big CRP patch over here with some timber, and I think that's probably where Trainwreck's bedding. So I'm hoping we're going to catch him a little bit sooner because he's been pretty nocturnal. So I'm hoping I'm going to catch him straight out of his bed. Got the shotgun with me tonight, so I'm zeroed at 200 yards. So I'm going to get settled in here, and we'll see what tonight brings. Maybe tonight's the night for Trainwreck's demise. Oh man. Oh, I gotta sit down. Oh, bear with me here, guys. I just shot. Oh man. I'm sorry about footage that just happened so fast, and I'm hunting with a single shotgun. I apologize for the footage so much. He come out chasing a doe. He was at 164 yards and I touched one off. I think I hit him on the first shot, but he's just so rutted up. I don't even think he knew he was hit. He actually came back out and I could tell he was kind of limping a little bit. I don't know if I got panned back over on him or not, but that doe actually ran towards me with this horseshoe bowl. It echoes real bad down here. She actually ran towards me, so he started running back towards me a little bit too, and I touched another one off, and he's down right out here. I mean, he's a nice deer. Honestly, I don't know if it's train wreck or not. I seen him come out way down. Man, he is a stud. I can't wait to get up there, and I'm gonna call my dad. He's like I said, he's just down the way a little bit. I'm gonna call him and have him come up with the recovery. I'm pumped. Oh man, whew, the emotions start hitting. I have hunted hard.
Up by 7, Hawkins stripped away, and then got a foul.
All right, guys, it is about almost 4 o'clock here on Sunday the 20th, and I was at home today. I was having a family day at the house, and we've been hanging out all day, and Brad decided to slip out last minute for a quick afternoon sit here. We've had some really cold temps, and a big front came through all weekend here for the first Illinois shotgun season, and it's been really windy, but today it laid down a little bit and warmed up a little. It's in the high 30s today, and it's been low 20s and the teens the last couple days. So Brad decided to slip out. He made an aggressive move and it paid off, and that's why I'm in the truck and heading that way. I am super pumped for him. From what I can tell, I think he's got his biggest buck ever laying on the ground. I knew when my phone was ringing at 3:30 that it only meant something good, because I knew he was out hunting. So super excited to bring this one to you guys. I'm heading that way. We're gonna get some interviews and stuff going and some pictures for it, but definitely excited to see this deer, and I could not be more happy for Brad. He hunts hard, so he definitely earned this buck. So we will I'll get with you guys here in a minute when we see this deer for the first time.
All right, guys. Well, this is the result of just a lot of planning and preparation. Kane and I talked a lot today, which I touched on earlier in the hunt. Over the cutty back link system over here in our inside corner plot, we had to picture this buck, I think twice this year, about mid-October, and then actually probably only a couple weeks ago. And we had talked about where this deer is bedded, and every time we got pictures of this deer in that inside corner plot, it was always fairly early in the evening, but this deer was primarily, all our pictures were at night. So we decided we had to really get aggressive tonight, and I did. I went into a big bedding area, and it 100% paid off. This is definitely one of my biggest deer to date. Even after being rutted for, chasing and everything through the rut, this deer is just amazing. Beautiful deer. Can't thank Kane enough. He hurried up right away after I FaceTimed him. He come over and got some pics done with beautiful sunset behind me. Couldn't ask for a better hunt. So thanks again for following me throughout the year, and I still got one more buck tag to fill, and I'm planning on doing that with my bow. So stay with me, and we'll bring it to you.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the hunts on this week's episode. It was really cool to see those 2 kills, and a big congrats to John and Brad. That was an awesome non-typical deer that John was able to take down, and it's always special to see a guy take his biggest buck to date and just the emotions that come with it. It doesn't matter how long we hunt and how many deer we kill, it's still, every deer is unique, and every deer just, triggers you a little differently. So that was a really cool one to see, and super pumped for Brad on that kill. So Brad and I are going to get out tomorrow for probably our last morning sit of the year. We're still seeing a little bit of rut action, so we're just going to try an aggressive sit and get on one of my permission farms tomorrow up on top of that ridge again. And just like I said, we're going to be aggressive. We're going to do a lot of rattling, just really try and stir up that last late rut movement and see if we can't trigger a shooter. But then going after that, I think myself and a lot of the team, you're going to see us start transitioning back to food now as we're at that tail end of the rut. And we'll start hitting it hard trying to get those bucks as they're trying to refuel and get them on a little bit of a feeding pattern again. So that can be just as an exciting time of the year. You know, the cuttybacks are going to play a big part in that, but it's cool to kind of try and pattern those deer and just hunt them totally different than we have been in this sprint the last few weeks. So, but as always, we appreciate you guys watching this week's episode of the Heartland Show here on Midwest Whitetail, and we'll catch you guys right back here next week.